between us, we had the creative, artistic, practical.
Dan's technical, Sinead's quite relaxed and she's accommodating, and I'm more intense.
The roles vary basically depending on what stage we were at.
We offset each other's deficiency, so probably that's why we worked quite well together.
Sinead just tells it how it is, you know. She cuts the crap basically, and that was great. It was really refreshing because you could just go and ask her things. Like I was saying before, you know, you can always ask people stuff, and she was always there.
As an actor, that really helps because you need to know where you're going to be, you know, what time, what's expected of you.
I think that was the secret to it, really. There were no surprises, and so always there were texts and emails and phone calls just to put me in the picture the whole time.
We really pursued every avenue possible. You know, we tried everything. We went for private funding, public funding, we went for grants.
And we went to Screen South to start with to get government funding, which was a definite possibility. They were interested, but everything would have had to have been done on union rates, which would have been very expensive, would have blown the budget into something of an animal that we couldn't have been able to handle. Eventually
we ended up going down the private route. We raised the money ourselves to film it and make it possible. All the production team, with regards to director, editor, production designer, producers, waived their fees completely and essentially did everything for nothing. We also, where possible, tried to get what we could for nothing. The good thing about going down this route was that we had more creative control. It was all down to us. But the whole point was to be able to prove to people that it's possible to make a really high quality film on a really low budget.
Nobody was on deferred payment unless they volunteered.
It's just something about worth, that's all. And it's not a question of how much money, it's a question of the principle of it. And I like that about this.
Where we did want everyone's contribution to be valued, and the way to do that is to pay a person. We weren't able to pay exorbitant amounts, nobody got rich off it.
You know, money is esteem, and just a little bit of money makes a difference.
Albeit a small payment, but the very fact there was a payment made did, I think, tie people to the project.
It helps the actor with the agent situation, because otherwise the agent is going to say to you, well, you know, you might get something else that week.
It was vital that everyone was fully committed to the project, be it locations or cast, crew. Once they began the project, they were going to see it through the end. The way we went about ensuring this was to lock everybody into contracts.
It's a feature film, you're working over 90 to 100 minutes, and so there's a lot of work. For the few months of pre-production that we had a weekly production meeting.
We would have self-imposed deadlines that we must hit for the next week, because you need to keep momentum going.
We had a clear agenda, which would be an A4 page with maybe like 10 to 15 bullet points.
We sat around and we had a must-do list. It wasn't such thing as a to-do list.
A film's only as good as you plan it.
One of the key things with a low-budget film is to first of all try to get a named actor on board. Most people, when they hear of a film, they ask who's in it.
Because it was a local project, our first thoughts were to approach local actors. One of whom was Brian. What we did was we tracked down his email address and we approached him through his events company, and I sent him an email just briefly describing who we were and what we were trying to do.
I have a corporate event company, I did then anyway, and I think there was an email on there, an email address that she got through to, and I picked it up that way, and I read the brief outline of what she'd put there, and I thought, wow, that sounds interesting.
And I left my phone number in the hope that he would call me, and thankfully he did call me.
Attracted to it by the fact that it was local, and the idea seemed very sound.
And he was really supportive, actually. He understood what we were trying to do, and we were really fortunate that he came on board. And now, in retrospect, I couldn't imagine anyone being better for the role.
And that really helped with the film, because it creates some kind of gravitas and some enthusiasm for the project, because there's somebody on board who people know.
If you know that the actor has a particular interest, and that interest is reflected in your movie, then then you know you're on a winning wicket there. Obviously, it's always worth a go to try and track down their email. Don't ring them, but try and track them down by email, obviously, or even put a letter through their door if you know where they live. Setting out and they might be attracted, they might not.
Went along to audition with an apple in hand, because that was what was happening in the script.
And obviously that sort of keeps costs down by using those people if that's where you're filming locally.
And I've been in Mexico for like a couple of weeks maybe, and I went, great, I leave the country and now someone wants me in a film. We asked if I could if I could audition, like tape my audition and send it through an email, and they said yes.
Doing a screen test obviously always helps. Interview them, speak to them, try and find out from other people who've worked with them how they work. Casting's always a really difficult process, so it's just a case of making it as relaxed and as nice as you can, and just be as open as you possibly can, and for directors to be as responsive to actors as they can be.
And another key to low budget filmmaking is to cast roles as close to type as possible.
When I was cast, it was important for Dan that I was similar to the character in the first place, so there wasn't a lot of trouble sort of getting into the mindset of Chris, because I have lived in a small town in Sussex for a while.
And when I was going through headshots of actors and meeting these people in a real person, it's so different.
I auditioned for the part of Paul Fraser, the government official. I didn't get it, so I was offered the part of Colin.
Very proud of it. I think it represents a lot of hard work.
A wonderful film that's been made on a very low budget but looks spectacular.
The opening sequence, I was kind of really excited.
The look of the film is terrific, and it reflects the Sussex countryside.
I think that's a very powerful message.
Unexpectedly emotional towards the end. Yeah.
The opening scenes, I was taken aback. It was just superb, and I just thought, this is incredible.
Good lessons for life in it.
The piece of work that they've produced from this small budget is just incredible.
A low budget film shot in a few days, and to be honest, I thought it was a miracle.
Some good performances and really nice cinematography.
It's kept my attention from the beginning all the way to the end.
Although it's a low budget film, it doesn't look low budget. It looked really good on screen, and yeah, I thought everyone did a great job.
Dan managed to pull off this terrific feel and atmosphere in the film.
It's a great storyline, and the finished product's a very enjoyable film.
Extremely satisfied, I'd say.
An essential lesson about the human spirit and the ways in which human perseverance and passion are important through any walk of life.
I think the look was quite something.
A beautiful story. It's really well made.
I hope the film makes people think about their own situation, their own decisions. And
anyone who's interested in story, really, over spectacle, really.
It was a great experience. I'm very happy I did it, and I'm very happy with the way it turned out.